Okay. Hello, everybody. So, sorry for the late stream today. IRL happened. My car starter decided it wanted to do stupid things and kind of leave me stranded. I was still in my parking lot, my barracks area's parking lot, so I was still fine, but I had to go get a new one. So, IRL issues, it is what it is, but at least the remedy is in my room. I just gotta put it on. So, anyway, sorry for the late stream. I'll get as much as I can done today, but it is really late right now. So, we'll see what we can do. So if I remember correctly, we're actually starting environmental storytelling, I believe. Yes, environmental storytelling. Okay, how do I want to start that? Actually, this is actually a perfect song too for that. So environmental storytelling. How do I want to go about this? Okay. Environmental storytelling. Environmental storytelling. Environmental storytelling. Times. The environment itself can be just terrifying. You didn't extend this the right way. I'm sad now. Okay, that's gonna tick me off. Give me a minute. Damn, I'm sad now. Ooh, Ada. Sometimes the most terrifying thing in a horror game isn't what jumps at you. It's already what's there. It's already what's there. Okay. I guess most infamously, obviously, the bloodstain in the dining hall in Resident Evil 1. I guess just for FNAF's case is just the whole entire pizzeria at night. Like, just seeing the animatronics in there, and I quote, steady state, not moving, being pretty much mannequins, and if you know what I mean. They're not moving, but they look like they're alive. So just them being there tells a story. How do I want to go about this? Sometimes the most terrifying thing in a horror game isn't what jumps at you; it's already what's there. Just sitting in the environment. Yeah. I cannot spell tonight. I guess I can mention Resident Evil 1. So, bloodstain. In cutscene. No, not necessarily, but you get where I'm getting at. It's the implied lore that's there. Oh shit, there's blood on the ground. I wonder where this blood came from. Well, shit. Or my favorite one in Five Nights at Freddy's fucking security breach. Five Nights at Freddy's in the fucking Pizza Flex. Why is there open generators in the playpen? Okay, sure, whatever. There's probably a story there, but anyways, just the environment can just anything happening in the environment can tell you more than any cutscene can at times. Not all, but you can start putting two and two together. What happened? Like using Resident Evil 1 as an example, there's blood on the ground. It must be one of your comrades' blood. Assuming that they're there, they just assume that they just assume that the other members of Stars made it into that mansion, and that blood came from one of them. And yeah, it was probably Kenneth's. What can I use for FNAF? Oh. Okay. There we go. So authorizing these details. Because your brain, your brain does the heavy lifting. Because your brain wants to fill in the gaps. Why am I spoiling Brian right now? Fill in the gaps. Fill in the gaps. You fill in the gaps. And you imagine what happened. No, 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 no. It's like fridge horror. People don't know what fridge horror is? Well, think about it. I want some cereal and milk. All right, I got the cereal all set out. Well, let's go get some milk. Let's go get some milk in the fridge. You pour the milk, take the bite out of it. Then, wow, this tastes really weird. Then it's like, but this is really, really weird tasting cereal. You go check the expiration date on the cereal on the milk. It's been expired for 2 weeks. Oh shit! That's what fridge horror is. Fridge horror. It's the horror or terror after the fact. So your brain starts putting two and two together, and then it just hits you. Oh shit! This is what's happening right now. But in this case, yeah, the environment shows you the clues, and your active imagination puts things together. You fill in the gaps, and what you imagine. Not all the time, but it's often way worse than it really is. And what you imagine is often worse than it's worse than anything the game could actually show you. Oh, you can see, yeah, you can see Afton's corpse, and I quote, "You can see Afton's corpse through." Oh yeah, you can, and hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah, because you can see him in. You can see him in. Yeah, you can. You can see him in the. Excuse me. You see him in that Bonnie costume. Yeah, you can see his corpse or his eyeballs to be specific. But yeah, he's certainly there. All right. So you fill in the gaps, and what you imagine is often worse than anything the game can show you because he's in there. Those springs and everything are just like, oh my god. Yeah, worse than anything the game can show you. And again, I do apologize for the really, really late stream, but IRL does happen. It's once you, any car owner will know. It's like once something goes, it definitely goes, and it's usually expensive, but it wasn't that bad. It's like $150 just for a new starter. I just gotta install it. Then I'm back on the road again. You fill in the gaps, and what you imagine is often worse than anything the game can show you. That's the power. And like I mentioned yesterday, I still don't know whether or not I'm actually getting deployed. So we have like at least 28 days left until the people that are actually getting deployed are leaving here. Like, you guys will be the first to find out. But I'm still under the assumption that I am. But if I'm not, hey, I'm still gonna be here. But if not, I should be away for 9 months. There will still be YouTube videos, but there won't be these streams because obviously I can't stream myself during a mission. That's just stupid. But again, I just don't know what's going on. We'll find out sooner or later what's going to happen. But if I'm not going anywhere, I'll still be here. So it's all good. Just our elemental storytelling. The world kind of becomes a narrator in a sense. Yeah, the world. The game world itself becomes a narrator. The game world is. Just to give examples of this. Uh, this is obvious, but I'm trying to like put a specific game to this. Well, using like Outlast as an example, obviously as soon as you get into Mount Massive, you can tell like shit went down just by looking at the environment alone. But the game world itself becomes a narrator, so destruction, area. Kind of pushing it a little bit, but I guess it's fine. Spiderwebs. Spiderwebs in a way show neglect. Excess spiderwebs, to be specific. Excess spiderwebs. And show lack of can show fun. Because spiderwebs are like synonymous with I already said dilapidated, but you could tell like something hasn't been like touched in a long time. If you see spiderwebs just like hanging off in the ceiling or something like that. So excess spiderwebs can show neglect of an area. Or better yet, well, Resident Evil is bad for this just because. Yeah, Resident Evil is like specifically like Spencer Mansion is bad for this because first glance, you don't see things that are going wrong besides the lights being on, like the candles being lit for some odd reason. Because obviously, for people that haven't played Resident Evil 1, there was the T virus was there was an outbreak in Spencer Mansion because of the T virus, and lo and behold, all the workers and the security personnel got turned into zombies. But it doesn't show that as soon as you enter Spencer Mansion. It doesn't at all. So it's like after you start exploring, like after you see your first zombie, that you come to realize, like, damn, stuff really went down. But at first glance, it's like this just seems like a very huge abandoned mansion at first. The lights are on, candles are lit for some odd reason, but we will ignore all that. So it's not as obvious with that. Like Resident Evil 2, obviously you can tell stuff went down because of the complete chaos surrounding the area, like in Raccoon City. FNAF is not, it's not seen, but it's implied that stuff is not normal in the pizzeria at night. Probably in the daytime, it's relatively normal, I guess, by normal standards. Fatal Frame is obviously like you're in a abandoned. Every Fatal Frame, you're either in an abandoned mansion, one, the village that got sacked and disappeared, and two, technically the Manor of Sleep in Fatal Frame 3, but your house as well. But Ray's house is fairly clean, so the Manor of Sleep is just in a dilapidated state. Fatal Frame 4, obviously, that's a focus of this video. You're in an abandoned mental institute. In Fatal Frame 5, you're everywhere, but everywhere you go is pretty much in a dilapidated state. So yes, the environment does tell a story, but destruction of an area, Raccoon City, shows something catastrophic occurring. Excess spiderwebs show neglect of areas, which is, again, it's a staple in horror. I want to do something else. I want to do something else. Look of anything living, actually. A surprising. Oh, fuck, it's been 15 minutes already? Damn. Give me 1 second. I don't want to listen to this. Actually, let's bump to 3. No, actually, we haven't heard this in a bit. Silent Hill F, or Silent Hill in general, when you go to the fog world. There we go. Lack of anything actually living. There we go. All right, lack of a living presence. Lack of a living presence can imply something is terribly wrong. So I'm pretty sure people get the hint here. Okay. You start piecing things together. We'll do like another 5 minutes because I definitely need to do my other stream too. But again, I do apologize for the late stream today. But guys, things do happen. Things do happen. You start piecing things together, and if every detail, the trust in the environment starts to fade. And again, with the Pizzaplex, it's like, obviously, besides big safety concerns, you can tell, like, the place isn't normal. Sun and Moon had some very dark implications, but that we cannot discuss at all. You start piecing things together, and with every detail, the trust in the space unravels. Okay, sometimes the most terrifying thing in a horror game isn't what jumps at you, it's what's already there, just sitting in the environment. Bloodstain on the floor tells you more than any cutscene. Or seeing an exorcist. Oh my god! I'm so used to saying existential. Or seeing an exoskeleton in a dilapidated state when it shouldn't be. Horror thrives in these details because your brain does the heavy lifting. You fill in the gaps, and what you imagine is often worse than anything the game can show you. That's the power of environmental storytelling. The game world itself becomes a narrator. Destruction of an area hints at something catastrophic occurring. Something catastrophic had occurred. And I cannot spell tonight. Excess spiderwebs can show neglect of an area. Lack of a living presence can imply something is terribly wrong. You start piecing things together. With every detail, the trust in the space unravels. Okay. And oh, give me 1 second. I did not check in with work today. Okay. Good. I keep on forgetting. I gotta keep on checking in with work just in case. And with that, no. And it's never about what you see. And it's never about what you see. It's about how the environment makes you feel. In the case of Spencer Mansion, I feel salty because I know the more I progress, the more hoopla is going to happen. It gets pretty bad. Especially in Mansion 2, because Mansion 2 is stupid. It's stupid at times. It's not, but it's pretty stupid. If you go about it the wrong way, you're just so cooked. You sense that something happened. You sense that something happened there. You sense that something happened there. You sense that something happened there. I'm gonna write something diabolical. I haven't done so in a while. Yep. But the environment itself. Oh God, I don't even want to read that right now. It's like the environment itself is carrying memories. You said something happened there. That the environment itself is carrying memories. No, we can do that as its own separate sentence, actually. Okay. Let's just change this up. I'll have that as its own separate sentence. Let's add more here. You sense that something happened there. You sense that something happened there. There's something lingers. That something is lingering. That something is lingering. And something else is lingering. You sense that something happened there. That something is lingering. Something In space. In the space, in the space, in the space. Refuses to let you ignore it. That one was kind of a doozy. Yeah, that's actually really diabolical. Yep, very, very diabolical. I'm allowed to do this. I'm allowed to do this. There are times where I just, what did Aku from Samurai Jack used to say? He unleashed an unspeakable evil in the world. I'm allowed to do that. So far, this is pretty self-explanatory. Like we know how the environment works. But I am running out of time though, unfortunately. I have to do my sprite animation stream, and it's getting really late. Okay, so this is what we'll do. Let me read this. Let me read this again. Sometimes the most terrifying thing in a horror game isn't what jumps at you; it's what's already there, just sitting in the environment. A blood stain on the floor tells you more than any cutscene, or seeing an I was about to do it again. Or seeing an exoskeleton in a dilapidated state when it shouldn't be. Horror thrives in these details because your brain does the heavy lifting. You fill in the gaps, and what you imagine is often worse than anything the game can show you. That's the power of environmental storytelling. The game world itself becomes a narrator. Destruction of an area hints at something catastrophic has occurred. Excess spiderwebs can show neglect of an area. Lack of a living presence can imply something is terribly wrong. You start to piece things together, and with every detail, the trust in the space unravels. And it's never about what you see, it's about how the environment makes you feel. You sense that something happened there, that something is lingering, and the space refuses to let you ignore it. In a sense, the environment itself is carrying memories of events. Yeah, it's very cringy. I like it. It's cringy. I'm allowed to do this. But like I said, unfortunately, I am running out of time. It's getting pretty late. I got to start getting ready for work, and I have to do one more stream before I go to bed. So tomorrow we'll wrap this up, then we'll start getting on to the next section. Again, I do apologize. I was not expecting my car starter to just die on me, so things happen. But besides that, good stream. We'll carry on with this tomorrow, and we'll add another section. Besides that, I'll see people tomorrow. Have a good one, and take care. We out.